Moving on. Information theory.
Yeah, right. It's been fun for me for that reason because I'm teaching my third class this semester, and it's like American history literature too. So obviously the poetry I know, fiction I'm being focused on.
I'm in a math student and like last day. This is my duet partner. It knows a little bit about how to improvise melodies, and then it tells me like, what it's doing as it's doing it, and I kind of have to chase it around. So wish me luck. I think that's it. Yeah. Oh, I guess the only other thing to say is it also decides how long the songs are. And I can play 2. That was a little loud. Okay. Thank you.
Encore.
Okay, actually, okay. Hold on. It does, here's the secret. It does, oh, interesting. Ah, no. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay. Maybe we'll do another slow one. We didn't really get to enjoy that one for very long. Okay. Thanks again. Katie.
Luke, could you say anything about where your partner learned how to sing from?
Yeah, sure.
If you want to. If he shared that with you or she
Yeah.
or it.
I taught it.
Yeah.
But I guess the real answer probably is the mechanical bulls, right? I think that's got to be it.
Okay.
Okay.
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
That clears a lot up.
Okay.
Yeah, I just move the mic over so I don't have to shout. And also the roadie. Thanks for being here, everyone, and Brent and Courtlin for hosting. It's cool to read this here because this book actually, I think, in a way started here at a end of semester party in the way before times, where Brent asked us to bring something solstice-y or something to read. So we were just talking about going back into the Buffalo Dark, so I apologize that this might hasten that a bit. But I read a John Donne poem at that gathering and was trying to write a paper at the same time, and then this is kind of what happened from that. So this is one of the 3 essays, I guess you'd call them that. I would call them that in this book. Okay. Study. 'Tis the year's midnight, and this is the John Donne poem. I quote from it a couple times. 'Tis the year's midnight, and it is the day's, Lucy's, who scarce 7 hours herself unmasks. The sun is spent, and now his flasks send forth light squibs, no constant rays. The whole world's sap is sunk, the general balm the hydroptic earth hath drunk. Study me then. I am rebegot of absence, darkness, death, things which are not, am the grave of all that's nothing. And that's from the poem A Nocturnal Upon St. Lucy's Day. What does thinking feel like? I haven't left the house in a while and walked toward Lake Erie. It is cold and sunny. The closer I get to the lake, the less of it I can see. The day is sunny, but the day is dark. It is a short day and will be night again soon. If an idea is a drop of oil, if my thought is the hydroptic earth, if my thought is a drop of oil, if my mind is the hydroptic earth, if an idea is a drop of water, if my thought is the hydroptic earth, if my mind is my thought, if an idea is my thought. There's something in me that both attracts and repels understanding. There's something in language that both attracts and repels understanding. There's something of language in me in language. Thought before thinking like a distant field, bright and dark of water in December. I touch it and it forms a shining ring around me. Thought before thinking, before writing. Thought before thinking like a distant field, bright and dark of water in December. I touch it and everything goes dark but the one light from my hand, from my mouth. From my hand to mouth, a rope with sickly bioluminescence. If my hand is my thought, if my mouth is my language. December thought, no constant rays. I hesitate before thinking, fearing what it makes me make of an idea. E.g., I placed a jar in Tennessee and round it was upon a hill. It took dominion everywhere. The jar was gray and bare. It did not give of bird or bush, like nothing else in Tennessee. Just Wallace Stevens from Anecdote of the Jar. Donne's poem starts and ends at the same place. The year's midnight, the years and the days deep midnight. 'Tis, is, the logic of the poem is in qualifications, negations, the substance of nothing. Quoting from the poem again. Were I a man, that I were one, I needs must know, I should prefer, if I were any beast, some end, some means, yea, plants, yea, stones detest and love, all some properties invest. If I an ordinary nothing were, as shadow, a light and body must be here, but I am none. And then another Wallace Stevens. For the listener who listens in the snow and nothing himself beholds, nothing that is not there and the nothing that is. I'm trying to think about the sublime, but I keep hearing the word hydroptic, the contours of its sound. Thought before thought, sound before sound. Today I read Kant's writing on the sublime. I walked outside in the cold. I was tired from the darkness and the months of hard thought. Last week I wrote 20 pages on Emily Dickinson and how poets in the Civil War articulated the magnitude of the war's destruction in relationship to the magnitude and force of nature. It was about the sublime in a way, but I hadn't reread Kant yet. I wrote about the details of the poems. Today I read Kant. I walked outside in the cold. I was tired from the darkness and the months of work. I remembered these poems. These are my thoughts before thought. Thinking by looking away or by refusing thinking. How do I be nothing? Can I think as nothing? Stevens says he listens, he beholds. Donne reasons as none. Stevens reasons also. I'm not looking back at Kant yet, to look closely again at Kant's words, to watch his idea diffused among his words, distilled by his words into meaning. Now I am remembering what I remember. Kant on the sublime recollected in tranquility and turmoil and exhaustion, that the sublime is a result of the faculty of reason, that its pleasure is in the proof of reason, the necessity of conceptualizing the human as subject to this proof, that art necessarily conceived of as representational within Kant's thought, and so he treats nature only, the separation of mind into different faculties, the sublime not as a property of a natural object, but as a property of the mind. What semi-liquid slips from too tight a grasp? A limbic from Heidegger's argument against grasping. I dream all night of a perfect thought in fragments. I dream a line graph of the divergence of an idea over a solid form. Is an idea a surface? Is thinking a surface? Do the properties of my metaphor serve to illustrate its meaning? When I wake up, I read Lyotard's The Sublime and The Avant-Garde. Last week, I read an encyclopedia entry on the sublime, which described Lyotard's thinking on the sublime, saying it argued for the Kantian sublime, quote, the Kantian sublime as an enlightenment anticipation of the epistemological complexity associated with postmodernism, end quote. This is one reason I reread Kant this week. I read Lyotard's The Sublime and the Avant-Garde looking for this claim, which it does seem to contain in part, though this may be an inadequate summary, or maybe a summary of a slightly different idea found in another location. I'm uncertain of the high, serious tone of these reflections, A squib is also a short piece of humorous or satirical writing, but I'm too worn trying to think by squibs of sunlight to be funny. I go for another walk past the Catholic college nearby, coming down an alley aligned with the front door of the church. I come past the small horse stable still there, a winch still intact above its second floor window to bring in hay for storage. It offers a corollary to the niche above the rose window holding the Virgin Mary. It being December and thinking of thinking, I think of Immaculate Conception in my own adulterated trying to think. As luck would have it, the conception of pregnancy predates the conception of thought and is not unrelated to grasping, taking in, holding. Writing and reading provoke a kind of anxiety in me. I think this fear is that I will need to hold things together in a way it is not possible to hold them together, of creating some coherent unity out of what I have read. Kant says the sublime is only found in nature as the result of human interaction with a great unimaginable magnitude or force. I guess I'll just keep going. I was going to excerpt, but it's hard to do. Okay. I thought I would write about the contemporary sublime, trying to think about what besides nature has a great unimaginable magnitude and force. For example, technology, information, capital, the state, the collective. To be more specific, in December in Buffalo, I am missing color and other people. I keep touching a phone screen, moving my fingers over and over it. I say I have no time and nowhere to go, and the logic of this system wants to keep me alone and touching this screen. Everything I touch, someone records to see how they can make money off of this. I have nowhere to go because money left Buffalo with jobs when the economy globalized, meaning dispersed, as in the jobs were sent elsewhere. The logic of this system does not need to know that people live in places. I have nowhere to go because I don't have money. The university is made of students and teachers, and administrators set the pay of teachers lower than the minimum wage. And though I am the university, I do not have much power in it. What money I have is in banks where it is dispersed among the money-making entities of the world. What debt I have also. When I protest in the street or in public of the campus, I am met with the force of the systems that people have met that protect us or do not protect us. When I vote as well, when I go to work as well, how I am paid and in what ways my health is valued. When I stay home as well. If I went to Niagara Falls to see the color blue and the sublime, I also look at the border and casinos, what national policies make of the wilderness, how my American context surrounds all of my thoughts. This is a small example. This is a small example of a thought too large for December. I was tired of knowing, so I decorated the house for Christmas with Nordic pagan symbols to remember color and light. And in preparing to write, it occurred to me that my relationship to knowing itself is maybe a relationship marked by the sublime. Abstractions I might substitute for knowing. Knowledge, study, critical writing, philosophy, reason, rhetoric, assertion, academia, research, reading. I remember someone telling me that Milton was the last person to have read everything there was to read. I remember at 20, a teacher talking about the canon, how even if there was such a thing, which there wasn't, how the idea implied that there would be no relation between what was read and when it was read, as though something could be read once and hold a steady meaning forever, as though what you understood at 20 was the same as what you would understand at 60, as though what you read later wasn't marked by what you read earlier, as though reversing the order would make no difference. I do not remember a great deal of what I read. I often forget what I write. A problem of openness, of receptivity, is forgetfulness. What I do not grasp evades me. What I do not hold in myself returns to the open field. I never feel more finite than when trying to think in December in Buffalo. But what of the surface of the text? Can I append it, apprehend it in its finitude in some way to myself? May it make me a blankness I can work with? That's all. Thanks, y'all. And I'm going to welcome up Travis Sharp, who is reading from his book, Yes, I Am a Corpse Flower, which came out sometime in the past 2 years, in that haze of time that we went through, like in the spring, right? It was the spring of this year. Okay, everyone please welcome Travis Sharp.
Hello, hello, hello. Hi. Yes, it came out in April, I think. It- louder? Yeah.
It's kind of up.
Hello, hello, hello. Yes.
A little better?
Better? I could also just be louder, I guess. Okay. So I'm going to read one long poem that's in this book, Yes, I Am a Corpse Flower. The poem is titled Sinister Queer Agenda, and it has an epigraph by Nicole Brassard from her book Picture Theory, translated by Barbara Goddard. Language will reproduce with you in the folds of skin this endless version of your body, from now on unalterable, because I know how to move with you in the volume torere, coherent light skin. The sentence rises into the eyes, a projection of the self in. I is a sexed interior wandering through a field of objects. There is a recurrence of alone. Am I is or are in these dreams an unnamed forest of bright lights? What I wouldn't give to be made up of photons, a refractory factory of body of light. I is bright lights coated over. I was the failing of a sentence. I is the text corpse of the sentence. My thanato to its sententia. I is a glossolalic, saliva tongued over the language of the sentence of the eye of the body, the leachate. How much person can I be? In which organizational structure? I woke up to a lattice, recognizable and recognizing. I barricaded, surrounded by a forest of objects I didn't understand. This solitude was the beginning of starvation, was the beginning of obsessive charting, was the beginning of tender, was the beginning of repeat after me, was the beginning of stop, was the beginning of quiet. I is a sexed interior decorator queering organs. Body refuses to move on. I asked politely, repeatedly, but receive no answer. Is it you or is it you? Bodiless in the bright lights of the sentence. I is the stunning performance, the sight of the follow spot glow. The sentence of God is a sentence. The sentence of I is a sentence, is a sentence, is a sentence, sentitious, me, the saliva of the onlookers, the leachate pulling around feet, ripples. This is so unconvincing. With a vice, with which curvature can I convince that I, with which object, its infinite horizontal curving, I have sexed tendencies, memories of a trailer in a field in a town made of glass, or it was grass, or it was weeds with yellow flowers, or it was inadequate. I is a natural wander. This body is integral and tangential, integral. Its dissonance ripples in a cascade on the surface of the body. I ask repeatedly, politely, but receive no motion. This is my regret sexed. I Happily, I sad. Am I too young for this body? How much person does it take to answer questions of a sensitivity nature? I upside down. I have thought more on it, and I have memories of a trailer in a field in a town, made of field, made of objects, made of tongue, made of what have you. What has you? What has body? Body, me, the curve of the sentence. I bend at an odd angle. I long for exile. I gather the objects in my apartment and arrange them neatly around me. Objects stacked high in a towering sentence. Make windows, then fill them in with books and bits of paper. Eat all of the food and drink all the water. Rename all the objects as if they are smaller. I sleep. I dream of body with a vice in tension with my... Write down the dream on the bits of paper. This continues for multiple sleep cycles. I is inconsistency. Is this my me in a bag designed for garbage? I replace body's parts with objects I don't understand. A blender for a heart, a flip phone for a spleen, fork tines for feeling, spoons bent for palms, coffee pot stomach, pill bottle brainstem, ink cartridge gallbladder, bits of dream paper for bits of skin. This new feeling is simultaneously acute, obtuse. I can see much more clearly with these awls pointed inward. I dream so much of body. I run out of small strips of paper. I dream of body in the forest, things perpetually, things brighter. Can't help but arrange things neatly in small piles in inappropriate places. I, teeming with body. I is the glossolalic grammar of the body. A sentence, I wake next to the body in the bag. Coffee pot stomach warms in hunger. I replace nerves with wiring and send signals. There is no response, and then there is. It takes time to decode. The response says, listen. I listen in sleep. In sleep is an I bodiless in the... I wake and wonder if this is what there is. I poke body to feel. Body feels. I determine each day to replace something of body with the body of something else. I make bets. What will body? I send a signal to parts of. There is no response, and then there is. The desire has been there from the beginning. I replace right kidney with a porcelain lintel bean. At what point does the body, unreadable, converge, its overwhelming mass, its gravitational pull infinite? I is the tongue, tonguing saliva around a period. I write words on the dream paper bits of skin. I run out of words and room and write over words. I make new words by layering, congealing scripts, the unreadable body of it. How do you say, with feeling? The gravitational pull of the text on the paper of the skin. I want to show body, but I sit next to the bag and wait for lucidity to pass, because then bodiless in the park, bodiless in the restaurant, bodiless in the vehicle, bodiless in the bleachers, bodiless in the school, bodiless in the store, bodiless in the embrace, bodiless in the swing, bodiless in the dumpster, bodiless in the chair, bodiless in the gaze, bodiless in the crawl space, bodiless in the pit, bodiless in the touch, bodiless under the bridge. The sentence contains multitudes of body, and body in the bag, and I within it. Across it, the axes of it, spread eagle. Replace lungs with plastic kitchen bags filled with candy wrappers and bits of string. Replace what's left of skin with thread sewn onto bone and ligament. What will it take to satisfy? With 2 fingers, open bodies, thread skins, and caress various. I move the objects closer. There is very little space now. I think about asking body if it wants to be replaced with objects we don't understand. I decide no. I sift through what's left. Needles, bolts, a bowl, a cup, an electrical outlet, a picture of a small dog, a stuffed animal, a cake slice forgotten, chips of paint, a flashlight with gummy bears instead of batteries, a box of bandages, sunscreen, lotion, hair straightener, charger. Make mental notes and forget about them. I use the body bag as a pillow. At what point does rotting begin to? I smile and replace penis with flashlight, replace lymph nodes with bits of stale cake, replace fat with balls of lint. I grow tired and want to sleep. I feel ambivalent. I plug the charger into body, into the wall, and wait. The ambivalence I feel is a body feeling itself, touches itself, always fucking itself into existence, is the universe perversion, elemental flesh incestuous, pools of sweat and piss and semen and blood leaking through publicly funded pipes underneath speculatively overpriced homes, is a sewer, a gutter. A guttural I is a low hum in the throat, a retching. I sleep despite the charge. I wake. I draw crude patterns on the object wall with flashlight. I sleep. I wake. I unplug body. I make a beeping sound. Take on the disappearance of. I have this regret sexualized into a flashlight. I have this regret motion, regret motive, regret in a pinch, regret snap, regret, not regret, spoken regret. I have plastic egret as a spine. I wake. Things are becoming perpetually, and in a moment I can see that I hear a whisper. I move closer to all of the objects, sounds resembling sounds, an echo with no incipience. I move farther away. I look around, replace ears with small jewelry boxes, the silhouettes stunning. I hear not words, not sounds, only air. I cup my hands around the boxes of my ears, forming the shape of 2 L's, the beginnings of opposed sentences speaking. Everything is air. Objects speak air. I ask body if it loves, and I hear air. I open mouth and hear air. My thoughts are air and are aired. Look, look. I sends signals. I ask body if it is a sky. There is no response, and then there is. I have this sad queered into a lattice. I say to myself, run fingers along the contour of the structure's design. Copy the design onto a piece of cardboard with a permanent marker. Show body. Get body's attention. Touch, 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 touch. Body is a lattice. I feel more like. I replace feet with shoeboxes. I feel like more. Something in the body bag moves. the bag teeming with leftovers that won't rot. I should have done this years ago, I say aloud, myself. The bag moves again in a faint. Make note to investigate later. Spend hours untangling thread skin. The body bag teeming with movement. I write on a piece of cardboard, body with bodies for organs, then lose the piece of cardboard. I find another piece of cardboard and write, these organs do nothing and I love them, and sew piece of cardboard onto left shoulder. Replace brain with external hard drive. Beautiful reset. Tidy up a bit. Look for additional pieces of cardboard and find a bag of glitter instead. Replace left kidney with bag of glitter. Cover the body bag with a heavy blanket. Lie down and attempt to sleep. Close eyes. Open eyes. Everything is gray and beautiful. From this distance, the body bag movements mimic breathing. Thanks. And next up, we have one of our delightful co-hosts, Courtlin Byrd.
Hi. It's going to take me a second to get set up, so you can talk amongst yourselves. Thanks, Travis. I'm ready, as I'll ever be. Thanks to all the readers and performers before. I'm going to try to play 2 songs. The first one maybe is aptly called Breathing, which I believe is the last word that Travis ended on. So I like that kismet a lot. It's about lots of things. Not being able to breathe, which we'll see if I can breathe to sing, I guess. Thanks. Okay, I have one more. This is like brand new, so I hope, like, not like the band Brand New. This song is brand new. So, I mean, the other one was relatively new too, but this is not on anything. I like wrote it this summer, and so hopefully it comes out okay. It's called Doubt.
So that's it from us. Thanks so much for coming. There's books over here. We have Venmo if you don't have cash and want a book. There's also information about how to find Courtlin and Luke's music online. Thanks so much for coming. There's plenty of drinks left. We're gonna hang out. We might order pizzas later. People can chip in. If you feel like hanging out, please do. If you feel like going home, thank you so much for coming. And thanks to Travis and Courtlin and Luke for being here too. Thanks all.